Thanks for tuning in today, guys. I got a very special guest today joining the Hunting Your Greatness podcast, Aidan O'Brien. Me and Aidan met at Tony Robbins UPW in 2019, I think November, right?
Yeah, October, I think. Yeah, October, November, one of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. I knew right away, man. His energy was special. He was just there, connecting with people, just being awesome. And I loved your energy, bro. So I just wanted to say that. So Aidan has been an entrepreneur, a public speaker, and a professional network marketer for over 10 years. Aidan has not only been a leader in his ability to train and mentor people, taking them from ambitious employee to successful entrepreneur, but has also achieved the success in business to allow him to travel the world and create a life by design. Aidan first stepped on stage as a speaker in 2007, and since then he has traveled the world speaking, coaching, and growing businesses in 5 continents. Aidan chose the network marketing career alongside his speaking and coaching in 2010 and has been an ambassador for network marketing ever since. He believes network marketing is the best vehicle for anyone who wants to invest and improve themselves, get started in business, and create a better life for themselves and their families. Aidan now spends his time between his residency of Dubai, the USA, and his home country of Ireland. While continuing his passion of coaching and speaking around the world on business and personal development, Aidan continues to expand his possibilities and reach new levels of success in business year on year. Thank you for joining the show, brother.
Dude, when I hear that, I'm like, wow, come a long way in a few years.
Hell yeah. Dude, I was looking, when we met, you had like 4,000 followers. Now you're like
Yeah.
20,000 followers, dude. You're killing it.
I've been speaking on so many different groups, and I
Yeah.
kind of like every week now for months, there's been different groups and even other network marketing kind of companies.
Uh-huh.
And I have friends in other networks, and they're like, hey, like, would you do some training for us or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's just been huge. Like, network is everything, right? And my mission now is just to add as much value and share my experience. I think it's kind of unique. Like, I've 10 years in network marketing, but also like since 2007 as a speaker. I was in health and fitness. That's my background. I used to run gyms, and network marketing was a perfect fit for that. But like, I always believe relationships are the key, and the more you can kind of network, then that stuff happens to grow. So it's funny because even on Instagram, there's a lot more people looking at your stuff and everything, but it's cool, it's all good.
Yeah, man. It's all about the people. And that's what I knew about you first. Like you're just real, that energy that you brought. It was fun to be around. So, if you could go into a little bit about the art of communication and how you go about talking to people and just,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think something communication is something I didn't even realize how kind of passionate about it I was for so long. But I think being Irish, that made a major impact because we're kind of famously known for our communication, for our wit, our humor.
Yeah.
And growing up with an older brother, you had to be so fast because he was so quick and like he'd destroy you in a second. That's the Irish kind of thing where we just make fun of each other. And even I'm in the States now and I play basketball, like let's say at the park, and guys are trash talking. Like I come in fast and it's just trained in me, like from being Irish.
Yeah.
So I remember in Hilton when I was running gyms back in 2008, and I was teaching class in seminars. It came very naturally, and I loved it. And then I went working on cruise ships in 2009. So we had a big recession, as in 2008, 2009, like from 2007. So 2009, I went working on the cruise ships, and even though it was health and fitness, it was really a sales job.
Yeah.
Like I had to teach seminars. We had 4,000 guests a week. And, really the guests were only on the ship like 2-3 days, right? So I had to sell like $10,000 to $15,000 worth of product in really only 3 days. And within 3 months of the cruise ship, I was number 1 in sales within 3 months. And they put me on a brand new ship, hadn't even left the shipyard yet. I got the Dream ship. It was actually called the Dream, the Carnival Dream. I hadn't even sailed yet. I went to Italy and I was in the shipyard. And again, it was my seminars were so popular. It was all because of, just humor and just being real and communicating.
Yeah.
And I learned then that like what made me like, I didn't have the technical sales knowledge, but I just knew how to talk to people. And that's the key. It's just about connecting with people. And now communication is something I realized, wow, I have a lot of experience in that. I was only 23 back then, 24, and I was crushing it in sales. And it was all because of just connecting with people, listening to people, having fun with people. And that's really the secret sauce.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So what got you into network marketing?
But it's funny, I remember I was in the gym, I was working in the gym, and the owner of the gym I was working in, he was in network marketing, right? So I remember he brought a guy into the gym and set all the staff down and kind of presented the business to us. And I remember the guy who first showed us the business, he became like a mentor to me, and I'm still friends with him to this day. And it's funny now because now he kind of looks at me with, you know, for things, and it's
Yeah,
kind of cool,
yeah,
right? But like he always tells a story how my eyes lit up. You know, there's always one in the group, right? That like when they hear the potential of network marketing for the first time, their eyes light up. That was me. I was like, no limit to my income, nobody telling me what to do, travel the world. I was like, oh my God, like this is exactly what I wanted.
yeah,
And so that's when I first heard I was a product. And because I was a personal trainer, it was kind of easy enough to do, right? Because people are looking to me for health and wellness. And I believe it. And I believe actually a lot of the products in network marketing are very good because they have to be, right? Because there's so much stigma and shit around network marketing. And there's so many options to buy these products in like your supermarket or online that the products have to be really good. So I always believed in network marketing products, always. And I still think most of them are very, very high standard. But when I saw network marketing, man, I always wanted to travel. You know, I always wanted to live life on my terms. Like I hated school. Like the secondary school, the high school I went to, I hated it. Like
yeah.
I went there because my brother went there. It wasn't a school I wanted to go to. It was the school I had right of entry, right of passage into because my brother went there, and it was just not for me. And so I hated school. Like really, I never liked regular jobs either. You know, like
Yeah.
because I never met someone who deserved to be in charge of me. You know, I never met a person who deserved to tell me what to do. I was like, I still to this day haven't met a man who deserves to be in charge of me.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
to everybody, but like that's one thing I think people give up their sovereignty too easy, you know, and like a lot of people just kind of follow what they're, even now with this COVID stuff, they're told where to stand and what to do. And it's just, you know, for me, I think it's like some people are really suited to that, and that's fine. But I think that especially earlier on when you're younger, but it comes a point in life where you need to maybe row your own race, you know,
Yeah.
and especially right now, there's an opportunity for people to get in their own boat and start rowing. Because a lot of people are in the back of someone else's boat, and you've no say where you're going.
Yeah.
You go wherever the boat takes you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And you know, a lot of people are unhappy where they're going or where they are because they're in the back of fucking someone else's boat, and
Yeah.
they need to get out front and start. And are you going to get tired rowing your own boat? Yes, it's exhausting. Is it lonely? Yes, it's exhausting. Are you going to get shit in your face or wind and rain? Yes, you will. But you determine where you row that boat or what direction you go in. You know what I mean? And
Hell yeah.
network marketing is the perfect vehicle to do that. And it shapes you. Like I have my hand in so many different things now, so many different businesses, so many different projects and everything. But network marketing really made me who I am, like no matter what.
I love that, man. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. You know, over here in the States, 72% of people, there's a study, 72% of people are unhappy in their job. And, you know,
Wow.
we get taught from a young age, it's like, you know, go to school, be quiet, listen to the teacher, then get a job, listen, and you're living somebody else's dream. Like, I love how you said that. You got to row your own boat. This
Gotta
life,
roll your
you build your
boat.
own dreams. Yeah. Everybody's got a dream
Exactly.
in their heart. And, you know, they
But that's what
assist.
network marketing allows you to do, you see, because what you learn on that path, right? The skills you get, the mindset, the resilience, the toughness, the ability to speak and influence and communicate, like what that will give you, like your results are so dependent on your performance, right? That you have
Absolutely.
to become as good as you can possibly become. Whereas in a job, like it's famous, like you work hard enough not to get fired and they pay you just enough not to quit. But in network marketing, like it's all about your performance. So like even for me, I struggled for many years. I was very good at speaking. I was one of the best speakers in the company worldwide, and probably still am. But I wasn't duplicating. I
Yeah.
wasn't growing fast enough because for whatever reason, I was great at presenting, but I wasn't having systems to duplicate. Right. So it took me a long time to find that monetary success. But that time, that growth, that was all shaping me into a better man, into a better entrepreneur, more skills, more resilience, taught me how to ask more questions. My figure shit out ability, like a word I
Yeah.
just made up right now. I'm gonna use that again. My
Yeah.
figure shit out ability went through the roof, you know, because I had to.
Yeah.
And luckily, I had my coaching business, which kept me going on my speaking. You know, because I was a good speaker, and I was good at sales. Like I kind of companies booked me as a speaker, which brought money in, which was great. But like network marketing, man, you have to do it. Just shapes you. It just molds you into, if you're hungry enough. And that's the problem with network marketing. I think it's so easy to get in that people never, a lot of people aren't hungry enough to stay with it. And that's the difference. Like, you can make it work if you stick with it, because they're, as Jim Rohn said, they're basic skills, they're very basic skills,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people are afraid of that adversity, that water hitting them in the face, and they'll quit. They'll have that happen to them. They don't understand that the mindset, the psychology, you got, it's not a failure unless you give up. Right.
And Zig Ziglar, failure is an event, like, not a person, right? And that's the thing. Failure is an event. And I look at it now, like, even when I'm bringing other people into me for my business, whether it's kind of marketing guys or whatever, for my coaching course or my online course or my coaching programs, I'm looking for people who have kind of made some mistakes, right? I want you to have failed, because now I know you have some experience. Now I know you're not going to give up when shit doesn't go your way. Like, so I almost, now it's something I had recently, kind of an awakening. I want people who have failed, because I have failed so much. I continue to fail, but I believe in myself more than anybody else. So I'm looking for people who fail and still believe in themselves,
Hell yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, man.
That's what you have to have. And it's unrealistic and it's bullshit when people, want winners. Like, winners are the biggest losers of all.
Yeah, absolutely.
They just go one extra time, right?
David Goggins, I don't know if you know who that is. He posted a video last night, and it was like, he got stopped at the hallway. Some dudes challenge him to sit-ups, and then some dude some lineman challenges him to arm wrestling. Then he's in the gym and he's doing pull-ups, and some guy challenges him to pull-ups, and he's like, all right, we're doing 5, 6, 7, 8 a minute. And the guy said they're going 30 minutes. He's looking at him like, what the hell, dude? When are you going to stop? They get to an hour, and he's like, how many are you going to do? And he goes, one more than you.
One more than you.
Hell yeah. That's the secret sauce right there.
One more than you. I love that. Like, Dave, I have a bit of that madness in me, like, when I started running, like, I played basketball my whole life. I hated running, but in Miami for the lockdown, running was really all we had, right? Because beach closed, park closed. So I started running, 3, 4, 5 miles, whatever. And I remember one time it was like, I always try and beat my time a little bit, and one time I got to 4 miles and I was like a second slower, and it bugged me so much. I did an extra mile just to get under that second pace, like, not just 100 meters, 200 meters, but I went an extra mile, because and even when I run now 7 miles, 6 or 7 miles, it's like, I can't slow down. It's like, I have to fucking go faster. It's beating myself, and I have a bit of that in me. That's why I relate so much to Goggins. Obviously he's the extreme version, but that one more than you, like, I love that.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're so young, so you're so lucky to be so young and have all of this knowledge and awareness already, and that's the thing. Like, with the internet now, there's so much information available, but it's what are you doing with it? And people like you backing it up and executing and taking chances and jumping in your own boat and just rowing, like, that's what I respect so much. And I remember even talking to you at UPW, like, I remember just chatting to you and, like, just your ambition, your vision, and with your baseball and your life. And I was like, holy shit, like, this kid's fired up. Like, he's motivated, Fire is like, and that's the thing we attract. That's the one thing I teach about in my communication course too, is like, once you get very clear on your vision and who you want to become, now it's in your reticular activation system, your brain is looking for people to support that. And that's how you notice how people like us, we always find people like us, because we attract them. It's magnetic because of that feel. Like, I always tell people, like, it's not the words we speak, it's the feeling. The feeling is the prayer. It's not the words in the prayer, it's the feeling.
Yes.
And that's the real law of attraction. And when you get clear on that vision, and you start to live by that, you pull people in effortlessly. And then automatically there's a connection. It's like, even you and me, we spoke, with one hand you could count how many times we spoke probably, but because it's almost automatic, to check, there's already 100 checks that match.
Yeah.
You get me?
Absolutely.
Whereas when that's the beautiful thing about network marketing as well, I think, if I could articulate it this way, why I love speaking to a network marketing audience, or when I meet other network marketers, I know there's like 100 boxes checked automatically.
Yeah.
Of why we sync, of why we match. Now, there still could be some other ones that we don't match, but I know core principles in our being match if you're in network marketing. And that's if you're committed to network marketing. I've met friends, like, even in Miami. I do a podcast with a girl as well. We met in Miami, but as soon as we met, I was like, boom, 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 boom. We just knew immediately. Like, and the next day we talked for like 3 hours, and 2 days later we did our first podcast together. It's just automatic. That networking is just, you know the type of person you are if you commit to network marketing, right?
Absolutely. And you talked about the reticular activating system. You know, I'm in network marketing. I joined pretty
Yeah.
early, and my dad's been a successful network marketer for some time. So I've had the ability to see him, watch him, and see his ups and downs and learn from him. But you know, you
Yeah.
talk about that reticular activating system, and I come into contact with so many people that are like, I don't know who would buy this stuff. I don't know who. So many limiting beliefs, and that's why the reticular activating system is finding the, oh, I won't buy that. But if you set
Yeah.
your mind for abundance, that reticular activating
Yeah.
system is going to find those people like you, that energy. It's so positive.
Exactly.
And
It's called, I think it was Greg Braden I read years ago. He talked about like a belief dependent reality, which means your reality is completely dependent on your beliefs, right? And the more whatever you believe, it's like you only can see that. You can only identify it. It's almost like a coder, you know. A coder looks at a computer screen, they can see shit that maybe if you and me looked at it, we're like, what the hell is that? It makes no
yeah.
sense. To a coder, it's like whatever, right? You know. And I think our beliefs. This is actually for me. This is coming from God right now too, because I like how where this is coming from, where this is going. I feel like that too. Our beliefs are like we're either looking at a screen full of code and we either understand it or we don't. And if you believe that you can make it work, if you believe that nobody wants to buy your stuff, if you believe you can never grow a business, if you believe you can never be rich or financially free, your whole world that of abundance that wants to come to you is all mixed up code on the screen. And it
Yep.
just doesn't right there, but they're not seeing it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas someone else whose beliefs, their identity, their paradigm is programmed to I am successful, I am happy, I am abundant, that code suddenly becomes kind of readable to them because their brain is their beliefs and this is who I'm going to be, this is where I'm going, this is my future, this is who I am. Now the code makes sense for them. But like, we're looking at the same screen and to one person it's just mumbo jumbo and to someone else that makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
And that's the key. I think the code is our beliefs, you know what I mean?
1000%. You know, that reticular activating system is so special. Like, I don't think people really understand. You know, you go out, you buy a new car, you really want this new Toyota Tundra, and then you buy it, and now you see it everywhere, right? Because it's
Exactly.
important. Your brain's finding it, and that's, I mean, just finding all the good people, the abundance that life has to offer. Yet we got to
The
get out of
airport,
this.
right? You hear the airport, you hear your city, and you're like, what? Like, there's so much intercom in an airport, but then as soon as you hear your flight or your city, your country, you're like, boom,
Yeah.
because it's important, or your name on the street, or like that's a real thing, you know. Like, but it becomes so granular, like it becomes so micro, like down to like atomic level. I believe that your identity, like you're only allowed to see. It's like God or the universe will only show you behind the curtain based on your beliefs, right?
Yeah.
So like your dream life is right here, but like if your belief in your language is not congruent with that, you're only going to see the curtain, you're only going to see the wall in front of you.
Yeah.
But the people who can allow themselves and work on themselves, this is the key. Not even allow, you have to allow yourself first, but then you got to work on yourself to change the programming. And you know, in my online course, I feel like that's why it's a very different course than other courses, because the whole first half I teach people how to how to communicate with themselves.
Yeah.
Like that thing about network marketing too, people want to learn a script or they want to learn the body language techniques and all this. It doesn't mean shit until who you are behind the words. That's what counts the most. It's your energy introduced to you before you speak. Like it's who you are behind the words, you know? And that's the key. And you have to be able to communicate with yourself first, how you think and how you speak, like power of language. People don't understand that yet. You know, the power, every time you speak, you are speaking breath into your life, like you're speaking life into your words. And for me, that's a huge thing people need to work on, is that programming and their identity. That's something like even with my running, right? Like people try and change behaviors when the belief hasn't been changed. And this is a big problem. I read it in the Atomic Habits, a great book. And he talks about, like, you know, people want to have run a marathon, for example, or even a 10K, like, right, a 6.2 miles. Like we have this famous run here in my city in Limerick. It's called the Great Limerick Run. And it's every May. And people always say, I'm going to do the Great Limerick Run 10K. Okay, so 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles. And then people train for months and then they do it. And then they don't run anymore. And it's because they were focused on a goal. They weren't focused on their behavior as someone, or their identity as someone who runs. So when you shift your identity, I've been doing this, you might have seen it on my Instagram, I post like, I am someone who runs. So I'm changing my identity, which will allow me to change my behavior. Like I'm just someone who runs. I'm not focused on, I want to run this race, because that's very, that's definitive. There's an end there. Do you get that? Right?
Yeah, oh
That makes
yeah.
sense?
Oh dude, this is
So
gold.
when you change your identity, now your behavior can change. Now just your behavior, who you are changes, right?
Yeah.
So if you can change that, like that's a very clear example. Someone who says, I want to run that race, you change that to I'm someone who runs, they're going to keep running long after the race.
Yep. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's the same then with everything. It's the same with business. That's the same with I'm someone who, like, change the identity before the behavior, and now fucking the world opens up to you.
Yep. And then that's the thing that people don't understand. Like they look at these superstars like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Tony Robbins. They're like, oh, how could I be like that? But they don't understand that these people bought into a process every single day. They didn't, I'm just going to hit this goal and then stop. No, every single day. Kobe Bryant.
Who they are.
Yeah. Made just leaps and bounds. He woke up before people. I mean, it's not talent. It's the drive. It's the internal ambition. And I love how you talk about the language, how important it is. For so long, I was unconscious with what I would talk, and and I would tell myself in baseball, like I'd strike out and I'd be like, ISUCK. I won't even say it now because I know how powerful it is. But I mean, if you break it down, spelling, right? You're spelling yourself, good or bad, and we're always in control. So yeah, if you could talk a little bit about.
Yeah, I mean, language is the I am, as a lot of people know it. And listen, it's an ongoing process, dude, right? It's not like Eve, because there's something in us, I think, from probably programming from years, where there's a comfort in like feeling sorry for ourselves. Like there's some people who are extreme victims, but I think all of us have some level of victim in us on some level, because there's something about that comfort, that nurturing that we get, right? Like, I think even if we're children or when we're sick, like our mother takes care of, or whatever it is, I think that's in us. So I think it takes time to really get out of that loop of, oh, fucking poor me, or this goes against me, or whatever. But it's not for anybody else. It's so you can empower yourself. It's really so you can empower yourself, and certain things you can change. And like, one thing I challenge people to, a lot of my clients, I'll say, listen, try no complaining for 24 hours. Like, that's hard. Like, just such a little thing we bitch about. We take it for granted, but it's all lower vibrational stuff. It's all messing with our frequency. It's all affecting everything.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, recently, last few weeks, I really cut back on social media. I was just so tired of looking at it, I mean, there's just a dark, it was just a pit of like just low vibrational dark energy. Twitter, Facebook, everybody feeding into this fucking constant anger, bitterness, and hate. And, I did a video on IGTV. I was saying, listen, you can't heal the darkness by talking about darkness. Yeah. You can't heal anger by talking about anger. You got to talk about love to cure hate. You got to talk about light to cure the darkness. And the best way to bring love is, who are you? Like, when you do what you do best, that's love. When you, I tell people all the time, stress is just really the further away from your truth that you are, the more stress in your life. Yeah. Because we all have challenges, but when you're in alignment with your truth, like on a soul level, who you're meant to be, you just go through shit. Like small shit doesn't bother you, because it's like you're in your truth, right? And when you're in your truth, that's love energy. Like, and then when you do what, now you're bringing people into your life, into the world, just by being who you're meant to be, right? So you don't like to talk about love, just by doing what you do best. That's love.
Yeah.
And you're going to impact people in a positive way, and people are going to be touched by that. And now you're making a fucking difference in the world, instead of everybody out there pointing fingers and talking. Like Jordan Peterson says, like, you're out there protesting, you can't even make your own bed. Your bedroom is a mess. Just before the protest, this is from years ago, he said this, and it's true.
It is.
Like, so many people are so worried about everything else outside their own house, but their own bedroom is a mess. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, fix your own shit first, right? And then by you being the best of you, you're going to emit a frequency of love, of light, of joy, of happiness, and that's going to spread. And if we all did that, man, we'd all live in a fucking great world.
This world will be beautiful. And that's what we're moving towards. I truly believe that we are moving that way. And I think this stuff had to happen for us to realize, like, how special and how much of a gift life is. And, you talked about the vibrations, right? The raising and lowering the vibrations. Something that I took away from Tony was, you know, at Tony Robbins, he talked about not comparing yourself to other people. And I believe that the universe, God, infinite intelligence, whatever you call it, I believe that they gave every single human person a gift uniquely to you that you get to share with the world. And yeah, that is love. That is being who you're meant to be and sharing that sauce with the world. I just love that.
It's so simple, man. I'm figuring this stuff out really now more than ever, you know. And I've been searching this path and doing a lot of this stuff for a long time, but like the breakthroughs are coming fast now for me as well. You know, and I'm someone who's seeking it, you know, like that's why I always talk about seeking mastery. It's like this great ancient Sanskrit word called bhakti, Bhakti, and it means to seek divinity, but to have non-attachment to it. And I believe that, so like that's why meditation, like if you have expectation in meditation, that's not meditation. There should be no expectation. It just is what the fuck it is.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
like non-attachment. And I think it's the same with like mastery. We should be seeking it, but have non-attachment to it. Like we have to seek a higher level for you. But again, to who you're meant to be. And I listen to Steve Harvey. Like I love Steve Harvey. And he talks about your gift is what you do best with the least amount of effort. And I love that, man. That's why I know, like, speaking, coach, and training, like, that's what I do best.
Yeah.
Like, my network marketing business is my vehicle. And people years ago said, like, when you have the highest rank, like, what will you do? I was like, I'm going to travel the world and speak to my people. Like, that's what I love to do. So the network marketing is just a vehicle. People have to realize that. You don't have to, I think this is important, like, because early on in my network marketing, like, I became, like, identified with the network. And instead of realizing, like, I used to keep the coach Aidan separate in the network Aidan. I wouldn't mix them. And I realized that's bullshit. Like, I am who I am, and this is part of who I am. This is one of my businesses. We should be whole, because maybe you love baseball, maybe you love coaching, maybe you love speaking, maybe you love health and wellness, maybe you love, you know, emerging industries, maybe you love whatever it is, man. Just do what's best for you at the end of the day. And that's why I tell people all the time, like in network marketing, like, I'm not in the convincing business. You know, I don't want to convince you of anything. I'm just here to show you what's there. And like, it's a vehicle to get you to where you want to go and to shape you into the best version of you.
Agreed.
You know, so
yeah. You know, I for so long, you know, identified as a baseball player. That was it. Like, baseball is who I am. And no, that's completely false. So baseball is what I do. I'm an infinite being living in this human experience, right? And then you see so many people suffering depression when their sport gets ended or this, or because they're identifying as that. They're not identifying as just infinite.
I agree. Also on that, I'm glad you said that, because I feel like the last year, like for years, like I was a huge sports fan. So I played basketball at a fairly high level in Ireland, even though it's Irish, still at a good level at the time. And even when I play in America, like I can compete in the parks with these good guys, right? Because we're competitive, us Irish, we're fighters, we're fighting. But I lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that?
Basketball, Ireland.
Yeah, but you were saying about
infinite identity.
With the baseball, you identified. I just lost my train of thought. That's crazy.
You're good.
What was I going to say there now? Talking about basketball, and I led to, what was it?
Identity.
That's so funny how I just lost it.
It's all good. You talk about being fighters from Ireland, you know, have you ever met Conor McGregor?
Oh, I haven't. No, I'd like to though. He's a legend. Like, he's someone, his mind is crazy for creating, and people don't realize that, you know, that he's actually, that outward show is just a show, but like he used the law of attraction big time early on.
Yep.
When you read, you know, a lot of people don't know he was reading like Jack Canfield's book, The Key to Law of Attraction, in his first ever documentary. You know, so I was surprised he did let himself down a little bit, I think, but that's life, right? That's things coming the way and whatever. I really want to go back to that, what you were saying about baseball, that you identified yourself as a baseball.
Yeah.
And then you said something after that, though.
I said, like, a lot of people, like, their sport will get ended, or they'll get.
Thank you. You brought it back. No,
you got it.
So I was talking about just like, so I was always into sport, is what I was going to say, right? But I love watching soccer. So Manchester United was my team.
Okay.
And I loved watching soccer. I just loved it. And then I realized over the years, I was like, if I'm watching TV, like the only person making money is the people on the TV, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm like, do I want to be a fan or do I want to be a player? Okay. And I was like, if I want to be a player, I don't want to be a fan, right? So I want to be a player on the pitch of my life, scoring goals, making 300,000 a week, right? And then I realized I had another shift. I want to be a player, I don't want to be an owner,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I was
Yes.
like, every time I started watching sport, especially a 90-minute soccer match, I was like, I should be doing something for me now. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I started to look at noticing that people were obsessed with like wishing their life away, right? Monday wishing for Friday, but so many people waiting for the game at the weekend. Waiting for, like, in Ireland, rugby is huge. Everybody waiting for the rugby match the weekend, waiting for the rugby match. And it became so apparent to me, like their whole life was on this fucking game.
Yeah.
And then what I noticed, like distraction, like with social media, people are practicing distraction, including me. We all do, right?
Yeah.
But then in this quarantine, this lockdown, I realized that I loved it. Like there was no distractions. Like people had to face themselves. And there's a lot of people who learned a lot of lessons the last 3 months. Maybe they didn't learn shit, but like
Yeah.
people around them learned that, hey, there's no matches. What do you want to talk about now? There's no club on the Saturday, and they come home Monday and they're talking about the club and the game. And then they're talking about next week's club, going to the club and the game. So some people, it was a magnifier, I think, this lockdown. A lot of people can't sit with themselves. And I hope they had that awareness, like, shit, I need to make some changes. But I know a lot of people who were drinking 3 or 4 days a week because they just couldn't fucking sit with themselves.
Yeah.
And I think this whole world has become, and this whole obsession with sport, it's become a fucking massive distraction. And that's why they're unhappy. That's why they're anxious. That's why they're depressed. That's why they're stressed. And the whole world is just constant distraction, you know? So I've become almost resentful a little bit, and it's something I don't want to have too much either. But like, I see people who are obsessed with the game on the weekend. I'm like, what are you focused on, man? Like, you're focused on that shit. Like, get in your own boat, right? Like, what's again, like, you can't make your own bed. You're concerned about these guys who are making 300,000-400,000 a week, or you're wearing a jersey with their name on the back. You got to take care of your own shit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I'm feeling lately. Like, I want to watch sport. Like, I want to, but like, not till I'm where I need to level up a couple more times.
Yeah.
You know? Then I'm gonna buy a box in the stadium and I'll go there because my businesses, all of them, do running without me.
And you're networking with you. Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying? But like, to sit at home every Saturday and just wait for that, and fucking my joy being dependent on the game, and fuck that, like, dude. I'm sorry.
Amen. Thank you for sharing that, because, you know, over here we got Monday night football, Thursday night football, Saturday college football, Sunday is National Football Day, and people literally live for this. And it's like they don't understand that they have the capability of being that LeBron James with their gift, or being that person that just is amazing, because they don't want to work on themselves. They would rather just like live through somebody else. And it does cause so much anxiety, depression. They're not, they have no purpose. I suppose,
like, young people are still watching their college football. It's huge. And like, I know, like, there's a girl in Miami, and she was like, oh, I'm like, still like, you're out of college like 4 years and you can't wait to go drink and watch college football. I know it's huge over there, but like that was someone who was living their own life and maxing out, so it's fine. You can't deny it, right? But it was just interesting to me, that obsession that's still there. And listen, I'm coming from someone who was obsessed with sport. I still love sport. I'm an athlete my whole life. So it's not like I'm not sporty and I'm judging. Like, you know, forget that. But I'm just saying, someone who was there, I realized I can't become the best version of me if I'm so busy watching you every week. You know what I'm saying? Or whoever.
Yeah. No, same way. I was a big Patriots fan. You know, I'll still root for him, but I probably won't watch him anymore. I literally – dude, I knew every single player on the Patriots roster. I could recite their number. I knew exactly their schedule, when they were playing, the score of each game. And I'm like, it hit me last year. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, are you serious? And I just kind of, same with you. I kind of pushed it away. And
again, there'll always be an attraction, but like, let me take care of like, it's okay when you're 22, 23, fair enough, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But when you're 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 30, like, unless you're killing it in your own life, unless you're smashing your goals, unless you have goals in the first place and they're in alignment. Like I said, I don't mind. I have a friend and they're working their ass off and they're on their path and they still love that. Great.
Yeah.
But for the people who are unhappy in their life and they're stressed and they're broke and they get 4 weeks vacation a year and they're not happy with life, and you're still doing that, like, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not one to judge. I don't give a shit. But like, I'm here. If you're happy, you're winning. I always say that. If you're happy, you're winning. But it's the people who aren't happy and they're complaining. Listen, the power is in your hands, you know. And that, again, coming back, that's why network marketing is the vehicle to get you in, get in the, level up,
Yeah, no, I'm super grateful you said that. Cause yeah, I don't want to judge people either. That's their experience. They got it. They got to live through that. And, that's just not for me. And I don't want to look back on my life and regret, like, damn, I never took the leap of faith. I never started rowing my own boat. I lived in somebody else's boat and I lived their dream. No, I'm going to create
and you
my
stayed
dream.
a fan. I don't want to waste it. You're a fan. Hold on a second. There's people out there who are ready to be your fans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, where are your fans at? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
And everybody can have a fan. It doesn't have to be the LeBron James. Because I think when we say things like that, somebody like it's inconceivable for them, right?
Yeah.
Like Abraham talks about, like we talk about the law of vibration and stuff and law of attraction. It's like we attract the things that we believe are the next logical step. Like if something, that's why I'm always talking about, like, when I go to Dubai, I always rent Lamborghinis, right? Yeah. But I tell people, I'm not pretending to own. I'm like, yo, I rent this. Why? Because I want to feel it. Because I want one in the future. So I want to get behind it as much as possible. So to me, it's like, that's no big deal. It's just, I drive Lamb. You know what I'm saying? It's not this shooting star. Like, we have to feel things, and that's why, like, I've traveled my whole life since I was 16 because I love touching my goals. I love getting familiar because then they feel like a part of me. They're not some shooting star out in the sky I'll never reach. Yeah. So a lot of people are like, be the Michael Jordan of your sport. It's too far out for them. But like, how can we pull that in? And that's the thing what we do with coaching is we pull your vision into you, bring it home, and let's take some steps now to get you. And again, once you're in alignment with your gift, man, it doesn't matter if you're painting or if you're a coder or if you're a carpenter, if you're it doesn't matter. If you're doing what makes you happy, you're winning.
Absolutely. You don't have to be that superstar. You just be you. Be you.
But be in your truth, though.
Yeah.
That's the difference. In alignment with who you're meant to be. That's the fucking key. Because once you're in alignment with who you are, it's just like magic happens,
You're in like a flow state. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Flow state. Yeah. That's,
That's
and listen, it's all a process, bro. It's all a process. I'm not, I always say, do what I say, not what I do. Like, we're all working on our stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Joe Rogan, he talks about, like, people look at this like, oh, you got to get after it. You got to get after it. And, for me, I like physical activity. I love running. I love biking. I love sports. I love it all. I love being outside and moving. And, somebody might not like that as much, but what if you want to blog? Start writing 1,000 words a day. And then 1,500, 2,000, or you like a photographer, go take pictures like once a week and then up it to 2 times a week or whatever it is, but create that standard and then grow.
You just said the word, a standard for yourself, right? Tony Robbins says, we get what we tolerate, we get what our standards are, and we all have to raise our standards, all of us, all the time. And your standards should be higher 6 months from now than they are now. That's what I'm always trying to, like, how can I keep, you don't have to, again, it's very difficult to change your behavior overnight because our identity is so programmed in us, right? We got to start by changing your identity, but how can we raise our shift us slightly and raise our standards bit by bit, so that, like for me, I'm addicted to, I love food. I love eating because I trained. So when I was playing basketball, we trained twice a day, 6 days a week. I could eat whatever, but now I still eat like I'm that athlete, which I'm not, right? So it's like, we got to reprogram some of those things. But like, if I didn't have standards for myself and I didn't get out there and move my hands, or I didn't stop eating it, I'd just be a huge fat dude, you know what I'm saying? And I don't have success in one area and then be unhealthy. You know what I mean? Like, I have friends like that and they're super wealthy and successful, but they couldn't run a mile and they can't do a push-up.
Yeah.
Like, and especially if you're young, I talk about attraction and persuasion. Like, attraction is a real thing. Just being healthy makes you more attractive, just by being healthy. And it's hard to lead. It's hard to lead if you're not attractive.
Absolutely. Like Tony talks about, that foundation has to be your health. You can't, he tells this story. He was going to Circus Olay. I don't know where or what state, but he brought his family and they're sitting in the front row and there's this like 2 empty seats. And this big dude, right, comes in and can barely fit in those 2 seats. And he had it VIP, wealth, like rich as can be, right? And somebody next to Tony goes, hey, you know who that is? He's like, no, who is it? And he goes, that's the wealthiest guy in Canada. And he's like, wealthy? What do you mean? That guy's rich, but he ain't wealthy, And that feeling, like that energy is just depleted. It's not wealth. Wealth translates at the very origin of the word to well-being. And people don't understand the wealth. Oh, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, big houses. No, it's there's so much to go with wealth, like spirituality, relationships, finances, physical health. Yeah, it's
all aspects of your life. Exactly, the standards across the board, right?
yeah, you know, and we look to these people like, how could we ever be that? But if you just start small, like for me, it hit me. I was like, damn, I need to take massive action. And I started, and when I went to that Tony Robbins after, I mean, dude, I've read like 60 books this year, but that was in me. That was hungry. Now somebody else might look at that and be like, that's unattainable. All right, start with one book a month or one book for 3 months, you know, and then just grow from there.
Yeah, I mean, I hated reading when I was younger. Like, I didn't even finish school. Like, at the end of so we have 6 years in our secondary school or high school. So at the end of 5th year, I went to an island off the coast of Spain, and I did a sales-only commission job at 16 years old. Like, people told my parents were crazy for letting me go. And now, like 16 year olds, I'm like, holy shit, they let me go when I was that young. Yeah. But I did it. And I figured I just loved traveling. So I came back to do my last year. And after 2 weeks of my final year of school, I left. I was like, after experiencing the world and what I was capable of, so I didn't finish school, right? So I never read anything. And then as I started to find myself, I was like, really into personal development. I want to become free, wealthy, travel the world, everything. And I was reading 2 books a week for like years, you know. Yeah. And then of course I slowed down a little bit as, you know, I went in different mediums and stuff. But even in Miami, like I came back 2 weeks ago. I was in Miami for about 18 months. I had 3 suitcases coming home. 1.5 were filled with books.
Dude, that's awesome.
I bought 40 books in 18 months and maybe 5 aren't finished, you know?
That's awesome.
Holy shit, I was like, it cost me $300 to get my books home. And I was like, I can't leave these behind. You know, these have like, I said, can I leave them here? I was like, no, I can't leave them.
Yeah, I agree.
Weird. When I went to Miami, I only went for 2 weeks. Like me and my friend, I said to my friend, let's go and plan the year, strategize the year, get some sun. Because I just come back from Dubai. And I only went with 2 weeks luggage for vacation, and I stayed 18 months. And that's the key. That's why I love travel. That's what life by design is for me, right? So I went with 2 weeks luggage, came back with 3 suitcases and 1.5 of books, you know, and to me, I was kind of proud, and it's okay to be proud. Like, does that make me different? Fucking yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And it can make you different, you know what I mean? Because like when you seek knowledge, if you seek mastery, hell yeah, that separates you. And don't be afraid to tap yourself on the back and high five and big yourself up, because once you remain with integrity and humility, that's confidence in yourself. That's self-worth. That's self-confidence.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not about being better than anybody else. It's just being about the better version of you.
That's it, dude. And it's all about progressing, being better than you were yesterday. You know, Ed Milet talks about, you know, the 6-year-old version of me, I got to be better at 7. And the 30-year-old version, I got to be better at 40. Constant growth. You know, Tony, you're either growing or you're dying. Like, life is binary. And if you seek, you shall find. They have these little snippets in like religious texts, because it's true. You seek that wisdom, you're going to find answers. And, you know, you can't just find an answer in a book and that's it. You're going to be successful. You got to put the work in and row the boat, you know. But you talked about traveling the world. What's your favorite place to travel to?
Oh, wow. See, I'm someone, I love the sun. I was grew up in Ireland. We don't have it that much, you know, so I love the sun. That's why I end up in Dubai and Miami, right? They're very similar actually, but really why I love them, even with Dubai, and I still get this feeling. Before I used to travel, I'm like, oh, back to do such a long flight and blah, blah, blah. Every time I landed in Dubai, I was like, I felt something, right? Yeah. So I actually believe like places have a vibrational match to us. And like, I think Miami and Dubai have very high vibration, and they have very high sex vibrations. You know, it's a high, you know, anywhere there's a lot of sun, there's a lot of skin, there's a lot of high, and we know how powerful sex vibration is. Yeah. And, you know, I realize that those 2 locations are very high vibration. I always feel really at home there. And it's just, everything is possible, and business is possible, and big networks. And if you're the type of people to live in those places, your mind is open and you're international and you're connected. And for me, they're very high vibration places where I feel very good. So they're my 2 favorite, you know, and I still go back to Dubai a lot. I love Dubai. Dubai is just so clean and so rich and so wealth driven. It's like, you can really create your life by design. There's a high vibration. I don't know how else to say it, right?
Yeah.
But I've been all over, and I think people make the place. So I've been to South Africa. I was with great people. I've been to South Africa, after South Africa, I went to Thailand. So I was with some good people. I had a great experience. I've been all over Europe. It's been amazing. I've been to the Caribbean. So like I love the world, but it's the people you meet and the friends you have. That's what makes a place special. But based on places alone, I gotta say Miami and Dubai are my two, and maybe some islands off the coast of Spain too. I like a lot. You know,
That's awesome. Yeah, you hit it. Like it's the people, and Tony, again, the quality of your life is the quality of your relationships. And I believe the first one has to be with yourself. Once you fix the one with yourself, then everything else becomes great. You know, your relationships with others become better. Your relationship with the world becomes better, with the planet, but it starts with yourself. And so I wanted to ask you, what's the biggest stage you've ever spoken on?
wow. Well, with my company, we had Eric Worre, you know, the
Oh
network
yeah.
marketing
Uh-huh.
godfather.
Yeah.
Worre.
GoPro, right?
Huh?
GoPro? Eric
GoPro,
Ward?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we had him since 2015 at our company events, you know. And in 2016 at one of the events, he happened to ask, like, does anybody have a team they don't like, you know? And I put my hand up, like I was a diehard Man United fan, right?
Yeah.
And I hate Liverpool because we hate Liverpool. And he came behind me and he picked me out of the crowd. And he talked about accountability. And he said, you know, we have to create pain circumstances to motivate us because sometimes pleasure doesn't do it, right? And I was at the lower rank and I wasn't jumping the ranks. It was hard. The company was different. It was younger. And it wasn't easy and being in Ireland and all the excuses, right? Why I wasn't making it happen. And he challenged me. And there was like 4,500 people there. And he challenged me and I was like, holy shit. Yes, of course. And I hit it. I hit the rank the next month. Like I didn't sleep. I was like, holy shit, everyone's watching me. I got to do this. If I don't do it, I have to put Liverpool on my Facebook and all this bullshit. So that went on for about 4 or 5 events in a row, from 4,500 people to 8,000 to 12,000. And then the last couple of events was 18,500 people.
Wow.
And I was up on stage with him and talking, and it was great. You know, it was
Dude,
amazing.
that's incredible.
Yeah, it was insane. And he brought me so we had kind of built a bit of a friendship and everything through that. And then through my own events as well, I run my own events all over the world. I'm on stage speaking hundreds at a time at my own events. But to be up on stage a couple of times at 18,000, and I realized afterwards, I just saw myself with the mic walking around chatting, and I was like, whoa, like I didn't even, to me, it's 18,880, it doesn't matter. It's just, once you're in alignment, once you're in your truth, the numbers actually don't matter. I think people get freaked out about speaking when they have to talk about something that's not in alignment with them. Because if I ask you something you're passionate about, you could probably get up and just fucking talk. It doesn't matter
for days. There. Yeah.
Right? It's some people, the biggest challenge of public speaking isn't really you as a speaker. It's about your beliefs based on what you're speaking about and who you are as well, your identity, you know?
Yeah, love that.
So, so 18,000. We're supposed to have an event this year with 60,000 at it, but it was cancelled because of COVID. We rent a football stadium in Germany and we had Arnold Schwarzenegger and we had Tony Robbins at our event last year. He actually tweeted out, like, this is the biggest I've ever spoken at in my 40 years, which was crazy.
Dude, that's lit.
That was sick. Yeah. So like, that's a goal to mine, get up on stage there at 60,000. And that's I think I'd like to do that. Like where I have my own segment in front of them. I'm putting it out there now, right, to the world.
Yeah, speak it.
So like, yeah, I'd like to do my own like 30 minutes for 60,000 people. I think that would be pretty sick.
Dude, that's so badass. I love that.
Yeah. So let's give myself, 12 to 18 months to hit that one.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Hell yeah. I got a few more questions. So, going back to the network marketing thing, people look at it and they're like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. It's a pyramid scheme, but you working for the boss, that money's going up and it's never flowing back down equally.
Never flowing back down, yeah.
Whereas somebody in network marketing can make way more than the person that signed them up. They can make more than it's what they're doing underneath. Yeah. And people just don't understand that. So if you could talk about like the do's and don'ts, network marketing.
Yeah, I mean, we've all had, I think, in your careers in network marketer, you have different responses for that question. Like sometimes you get angry and you just want to choke them, and sometimes you get defensive, and then sometimes like I don't care. And really, like for me, like I'm 10 years now. Like this month it was June. I came off the cruise ships in April 2010, and June 2010 I saw this opportunity. The company I'm still with today. I made a decision at the end of June 2010. So I'm 10 years officially now, which is crazy.
Dude, that's awesome.
For me, I'm at the stage now where I'm very selective. And I think I will say it after a while, but I'm in no hurry because I'm in alignment with who I am as a coach and as a speaker and my mission. And my network marketing, like success, love, speed. but my attitude is so much more relaxed and confident. It's like a knowingness that I'm going where I want to go. Like I can't stop my momentum now, right? So when people come at me with that kind of stuff now, it really, again, I think first of all, you have to show, don't tell, just show the evidence. Don't just speak about it. I hate exaggerating, don't try and convince people. Like help people get out of their own way by showing them the evidence, showing the stability,
Yeah.
And I think if you're with a company that has some history that's helpful, but you can only get history by starting. So if you're a new company, that's okay too. But I think it's who's inviting you, what kind of message. That's what's important. I think the pyramid stuff often comes from the people misrepresenting, misselling, and we all have those in our companies because it's human nature, we're greedy. Like you see on social for the last month, people are stupid. Like people in positions of power are idiots, right? All over the world. Like from the lowest all the way up to your city, to your county, to your state, to your national, international, worldwide. So the whole pyramid thing for me, it's like, listen, man, affiliate is common, commissions now, you can drop ship, you can sell on Amazon, everyone has referral, all YouTubers have referral links. I mean, now more than ever, like, come on, like
Yeah.
Amazon has millions of subscribers, all the money is going to Bezos. Like in our companies, we share, like you're building a community of shoppers for a product and you're just getting a piece of it. Instead of like the richest man in the world is the man who's taken everything you're buying. Our process is the same, except we share in that profit.
Yeah. I think people have just been misled, like people are good. They just they think, oh no, my way's right. Like I'll just work this job. Yeah. But that's not the way. Like there's all this opportunity out there and they're just stuck in their fixed mindset. Like pyramid scheme. No, like just open your mind to the possibilities.
But again, what I'd say to you is like, show, don't tell. So many of my friends, all the pyramid jokes they used to make years ago, they don't make them to me now.
Yeah.
Give a fuck. I'm like, I'm just going to go back to my pool here in Miami. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
What can they say at the end of the day, right? So just keep moving. There's enough people out there. The world is more open-minded than ever. And almost like, I remember a friend of mine, recently a business owner, a guy on my team, he said to me, like, when people say like about multiple income streams, and he's like, wait a minute, you don't? He almost kind of not looks down on people, but makes people feel a bit silly. Like, wait, you don't have a second income stream? Like it's 2020, like you don't. And now after COVID, it's like more than ever. Like, wait a minute, you don't have a second? Like, why wouldn't you have a second income stream now? Like, you've not been awake for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, an austerity that's coming down the line now, like that's gonna come. Like, yeah, you can stay in your beliefs and stay stuck there and stay in the back of that dude's boat. But where's he taking you? Does he care about where you want to go or where he wants to go? So, I just don't get defensive about the pyramid. So I'm like, okay, bye. I just have no time for bullshit. I just have no time, man. I just no interest.
I agree. So where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, and so on Instagram and YouTube, actually, I started putting content up on YouTube because for years I was on stage in person. I never did the social. I never did YouTube. But even though in 2012 and 11, I was speaking all over the world and be like, oh, I should have a YouTube channel. I never wanted it. Now I'm doing it. So at Lifestyle Success Aidan. So Lifestyle Success Aidan, AIDAN. And I'm sure you'll have it tagged anyway on the
For
podcast.
sure.
So you can find it on Instagram, Facebook, on YouTube. I'm starting to build up that now as well. And I do a lot of free content on IGTV. So I did like a 30-day Design Your Life series, which is 30 days of a mindset. Now I'm on the Entrepreneur Life series. So I'm always doing these different series on IGTV. It's tons of free videos. There's loads of stuff there. I love connecting with people, to have a conversation. And spreading the love, share the love, and, just trying to help people become their best version.
Absolutely, man. I love it. Well, keep being that awesome light because this world needs it right now, dude. So
I want to say the same to you. I realized that at the start of COVID, I saw an opportunity. I'm like, the world needs certainty now. Light, love, and certainty.
Absolutely.
And there's an opportunity there for people to bring that, be the light, be the love, be the certainty. Start by figuring your own shit out. Start moving in the direction of your truth, and then you're just going to be a magnet. You're going to make an impact.
Row your boat. I love it, dude. Love it.
Awesome.
Thank you, Aidan. Hey, I'm so honored and grateful to have you on the show, man.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. So thanks so much for the invitation, and I really appreciate it.
You got it, brother.
Listen, we'll see you in a